Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Trash Movie Kings podcast. I am your host, Adam Edwards, joined with some friends, a bunch of creative types from around Houston, around the country, where we try to recreate the feeling that you get when you leave a midnight movie of Labyrinth after having 6 very dirty, very heavy martinis at the Weird Swingers Lounge next door, and you just kind of stand around outside under the marquee, kind of boozily reminiscing about what the hell you just saw. Now, Labyrinth, to be clear, not a trash movie. The movies that we watch in this podcast, absolute garbage. Trash. This is a podcast where various creative types all pile onto a Zoom meeting and watch some of the worst movies in history, looking for the diamonds in the rough. I'm talking movies you've never heard of, I've never heard of, movies that exist on YouTube. Not that they're in the public domain, it's just nobody gives a shit. They're just up on YouTube. That's how bad these movies are. These are trash treasures. This is the kind of crap that makes you question your taste, your reality, your life choices, and then we do all the heavy lifting and we let you know if they're maybe worth your time. Granted, we're in various states of sobriety when we do this, so maybe take it with a grain of salt, but also that's probably the best way to watch these movies. So yeah. Oh, one note. When you hear this sound, that means that you are hearing a clip from the movie session that we recorded prior to the episode of the podcast. And then when you hear this sound, that means we're back to the podcast. Now, if you watch on YouTube, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Which reminds me, we do have a YouTube channel where you can watch all of these for free. It has a video element, so you can see our faces, you can see the editing that's been done, and you can actually see the clips of the movies rather than just hear the audio of it. So yeah, that's about it. And sorry, Apocalypse Howl wanted me to let you know, he wants you to be warned that he has jokes that, you know, are worth warning about. So you've been warned about Mr. Howell's jokes that deserve warning. Cool. All right. Well, that's all I got for you. So enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, welcome to the first episode of the Trash Kings podcast. I'm your host, Adam Edwards, joined by 3 really great dudes. We're just a couple guys in Houston. We love movies.
And we're also a couple guys in Houston.
Yeah.
We're
We
two
love making
couple
movies.
guys.
We
Two
love
couples of guys in Houston.
We're a couple guys.
We're a real great group of couple guys.
Yeah. So this whole thing kind of started, I guess, about a year and a half ago for us now. Near the beginning of lockdown, it was, so obviously COVID is like a thing. And shortly after things shut down, I feel like, I mean, this is just my perspective, but the 4 of us, like, we've always been friends for a while, but hadn't really hung out frequently or like regularly or anything like that. And it seemed like lockdown kind of showed each of us like, holy shit, we actually kind of need interaction with other people. And so again, from my perspective, I think the first time that this happened was, Joey, you sent me a text and was like, hey, we're going to do like a movie thing on Thursday night if you want to join. And it was just like a small group of people. There wasn't really any plan for it. It was just kind of a way for us to hop on Zoom and see each other and interact and be social when we were not allowed to leave our apartments for fucking anything during the beginning of COVID. And from there, it kind of grew into this thing where just about every week, with some very few exceptions, at the very least, this group of 4 guys got together and watched movies and started watching shitty movies and shittier movies and better movies and Neil Breen movies and all that kind of stuff. And we just really found our love for trash and started calling ourselves the Trash Kings. And maybe, I don't know what, 2-3 months ago, we decided to start recording these things and doing little kind of breakdowns after the movie as to what we watched and why we watched it, what we liked, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I don't know, it was just kind of this way for us to keep in touch. And since then, a lot has changed. I mean, Joey and Mike have both moved. Joey's had a kid. I was like a kind of witness to a double homicide and had to move.
This is like a more dramatic telling of how we made nothing really happens.
Yeah. Yeah. We fucking shot a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Released issue 4 of a comic book.
Yeah.
gosh. So yeah, since we started, it's encompassed a lot of our lives now. So it's something. so it's sort of like a friend in a weird way in and of itself. But yeah, I was trying to think of the first movie we watched, which
Action USA.
I know. I think it was Samurai Cop.
Oh, it was Samurai Cop.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure, and I think the only reason I watched it, aside from having seen it before, kind of wanting to, obviously, was that we were like, let's pick something stupid enough to where we can talk over it, and it's not a big deal. Like, you don't want to watch the new Christopher Nolan movie over Zoom with friends or whatever. So that was kind of the idea, and just so that we could have a chat. And then the passion just grew and grew and grew.
It almost became a contest for a little while. Once we realized that what we were doing was watching really bad 1980s American action flicks. So specific. But once we realized, I think we watched them all, it became kind of a contest to see what else we could find out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And not to say that we only watch trash. I mean, like there was one week we watched Host, which was interesting. It was like
and Little Mermaid.
Oh yeah, that was a fun thing. Little Mermaid came after we finished trashing one night because we were all just real drunk and didn't want to go to bed.
Yeah.
Again, like at the beginning of lockdown, it was like everybody was working from home, and it was kind of this new world where it didn't feel like you had to be up early to go to work. It was just like, roll out of bed, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So you're willing to watch Little Mermaid until 2 or 3 a.m. or however when that went. After watching some other movie, I don't even remember what it was before. But
in some parts of the country and in some parts of the world, the lockdowns are still going on. It's weird to think, because we are in Texas, that like in Texas, pretty much things got back to normal, but with some restrictions. But still, you can go do everything. But there was that.
Yeah, we're back to the Wild West.
There was that time where it went for about a year, where life just, it really changed. So
this was honestly all I had to look forward to for about a year, every week.
Yeah. Same.
And now that I have a baby, it's kind of still the one thing I look forward to. I'm pretty much locked at home, except for maybe one other night a week, or if I have to go work or something. But yeah, I'm still working at home, still in the house most of the time. So I guess, it's still an important thing for me, and I look forward to it greatly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think it's something that's very important to all four of us, and like it's something that the four of us have grown to love and to look forward to and all that stuff. And we decided that we wanted to make it into a podcast and share it with the world and everything. So, we wanted to take some time to kind of introduce this and let y'all know what the hell this even was, how it started, who we are, and all that. And so, yeah, I mean, unless y'all have anything else to add, I think we can go ahead and dive into the.
Let's do it.
I think I just wanted to say that I don't know if anybody else has any goals with the podcast, but I think my only goal is to actually garner Neil Breen's attention in some way.
I would love that, as long as it's not an illegal matter.
If in 5 years we're hosting a screening of Double Down at an Alamo Draft House somewhere, that would be the ultimate success.
Yeah,
I hope he genuinely appreciates our fandom and he doesn't take it as like mockery.
Oh, he absolutely will.
Great.
But yeah, I hope so as well. But yeah, I got nothing else.
Yeah, thanks for taking this journey with us, I guess. And
We hope you stick
you're
around.
welcome, and we're sorry.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
what did one raccoon say to the other on top of the dumpster?
What?
Let's dive in.
all right. Very good. So let's dive in. Go ahead and before we get into this episode, give us a follow on Instagram at TrashKings126. We have a website, trashmoviekings.com. And yeah, one more time, I'm your host, Adam Edwards, joined by Joseph Graham, Apocalypse Howell, and Justin Petty. We will have special guests here and there. Some of us may dip out a week or two. We might have other people joining in, but this is pretty much the core group, and we'll go from there. And without further ado, let's get into the movie.
What do you have for me this time? Hacking into the stock market, closing down a bank, fixing an election. It's all easy.
Right on.
Wait, Mike, are you saying it was brutal in the sense that you didn't like this Neil Breen movie?
No, it was brutal in how much I liked it.
It's 93 minutes. It's not any more or less than
That's-
any other.
No, but he has a way of making a film feel long.
This one feels long, but I think there's some other implications involved. Let's just get started.
Yeah.
I was
So-
for Lord and Savior.
So sorry, let me get closer to my microphone. Yeah, so welcome to this episode of the Trash Kings podcast. Host Adam Edwards, joined with Joey Graham. Hi, Joey. Apocalypse Howell, Mr. Howell.
What's up?
Justin Petty. How's it going, JP?
How do you do?
And another JP, esteemed guest, James Puckett. How's it going, James?
Hello there. Hello there.
Yeah. So tonight we watched Neil Breen's directorial, writing, producing, acting debut, Double Down.
Catering debut.
Yeah.
His makeup and hair debut.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Take a hit before this. Here we go, James.
Yeah.
So gee.
So I mean, we'll start off by saying that, well, for myself, Joey, Apocalypse, and JP, we all love Breen. For James, I believe this was your first Neil Breen movie.
First, primero uno, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Preface again. The four of us, Adam, JP, and Apocalypse, have seen this before, but it was a while ago, and probably in our baby, or the more baby version of Trash Kings, where we had probably maybe watched probably the first 20 movies or so.
Yeah, probably.
We
We were
watched
probably very
this.
drunk.
Yeah. And I will admit right off the top that I thought this movie was fucking a blast the first time I watched it. And the second time, I am just baffled.
Yeah.
Like, I was probably really baffled at the first time, but I think it was like so funny. But this time, I'm just like, this is wildly bad.
Yeah. So the premise of this one is Neil Breen, as usual, is a brilliant, can do nothing wrong, kind of like knows everything, super agent kind of genius man who can
Hacker.
yeah, he's like a hacker. He can control any laptop, cell phone, steal any car, whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, he's like a biochemist that is going to.
Yeah.
He's like a Renaissance
Terrorist.
man.
You know what he calls himself? He says at the beginning, like hacker bioterrorist or something.
Now covert agent, mercenary for any nation that wants to control another.
Yeah, he mentions that he has like implants to help him do his shit.
In his eyes.
Yeah, in his eyes.
I've received bio-electromedical implants to assist me in carrying out my attacks.
That's definitely his face. I fucking hate that.
Yeah, and he has gotten orders from a foreign government, we don't know who, to shut down the Las Vegas Strip for 2 months.
From a foreign government, yes.
Yeah, we don't know why. We don't know who. But
Yeah.
those are his orders.
Canada.
You could say he's a mercenary.
Right.
I guess.
It's weird because it's like throughout the movie, he seems to indicate that he worked or works for the American government. But like you said, Justin, he definitely seems like more of a mercenary or like a gun for hire than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah,
confusing.
because like at the end, like the FBI agents or whoever it is make that comment about like something about our agreement with him is that we won't track him, but he'll be there when we need him. Some shit like that.
Well,
Yeah, he's Batman.
think of like whenever it says like Black Hawk down, it's like it went down. And he's a double agent. So he's a double agent down, double down. The double is down.
it.
He no, I'm
Stop it.
literally telling you what the title means. Like he is he's a double agent tasked to do this task, but then halfway through realizes he can't do it because he's too American.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 100% what it is. But
Yeah.
wow, what a journey to get there. It is
So, because like it starts out, he gets his orders and he decides that he's going to shut down the strip with some combination of like bioterrorism through anthrax and then also injecting some sort of serum into strawberries.
Can we talk about
Right.
the anthrax really quickly? The anthrax, Justin was right. It's like a brick of anthrax.
Yeah.
I
It looked
thought it
like
was a
this.
fucking brick of coke, but then he was like
No.
anthrax.
That thing,
does
dude,
he
like a,
say it's
a teaspoon of
Yes.
anthrax. Yes.
Yeah, it's like falling out and it looks clearly like coke, and he's just
Yes.
like, this much anthrax could kill an entire city.
And you
It
know
looks
that it's bad.
Clearly, it looks like starched all-purpose flour.
Yes.
Good job. Now Neil's gonna find him.
He dropped
Shut
the
him down.
flour all over the place.
Airborne anthrax is lethal once inhaled. Be careful.
Be careful.
That's a lot of fucking anthrax.
It's just flour.
Like a brick of anthrax.
But you know, they say Southwest is a party of the sky.
But you know that it means business because he goes down to the river and puts that shit in the river. And the next shot, you've got like 8 dead fish on the
At
shore.
least 8 dead fish. Couldn't say give me a dozen at the fish market or wherever he bought these
None of
poor
them.
dead fish.
None of them were of keeper length.
No.
Adam, he also told that guy too. He said with the brick of anthrax, he told that guy to be careful. So,
Oh yeah,
Let's
yeah,
not
because
forget
it
he
like
told that guy to
fell.
be careful.
Be careful. It'll kill you instantly. He'll
Do
be
you
dead in
realize-
5 minutes. Which
do you realize
The
that
only-
that amount of anthrax can literally kill, like you said, a city? That's like 5 million people.
yeah,
That's a lot of anthrax.
What are the
Um,
odds that that originally wasn't anthrax when he made the movie? Like that wasn't what he wanted it to be.
so that's
What
what I'm
do you
And he
That's
just
it.
decided to change it later.
So
Well,
I'm
it
wondering though,
seems-
because this was made in 2005. When was the big anthrax scare?
It was right after 9/11.
Yeah,
It
like
was,
months
Okay.
later.
Yeah.
It's probably
Okay.
in
Yeah.
01.
Yeah, it was. So
I don't know. It just seems very very specifically packaged like cocaine.
yeah,
That it's hard to not think like maybe he originally wanted to be coke and then just decided to change it in the dub.
Which is the beauty of his movies, is that there's almost no dialogue, and so you can rewrite that thing all the way up to release.
No, it's poetry of the Breen.
Yeah.
It's making a movie by the seat of your pants in 35 millimeter film, perhaps. Is
Yeah.
it 35? It looks 35.
It looks like 35.
I mean, what
'Cause
else
it-
would it be? 16?
I mean, it
Eight?
could be 16, but 8.
No, he
It
shot
could-
it on Ari, I think is what I remember reading.
which I'm pretty sure shoots.
It's gotta be 35.
It's known for 35. I don't know that if they make it to 16.
So it's shot on film in Las Vegas in the daytime, which is stunning.
That's a word for it.
Yeah, that is a word.
But yeah, so there's also this whole plot. So he gets the anthrax, he gets the bio disease or whatever the fuck, and he's getting ready to enact the plan, and he then takes his girlfriend to the pool and proposes to her. He proposes to, this is like the first 10 minutes of the film. He proposes to her while they are nude in a public pool, or
they're
a
skinny
semi-private
dipping in
pool.
broad daylight and maybe
Yes.
a pool that. Okay,
It's like maybe a
Las Vegas
hotel
no,
pool.
hold on. They show a ton of other, maybe perhaps stock footage of hotel pools that's populated with many people, and then it cuts to them being in the pool. So obviously it's a private pool the way they shot it, but I think the implication is
Right.
that they are naked in this pool.
Yeah, and like a
And then,
Oh, like in the
semi-public
very
pool.
corner of a very
like,
crowded pool.
in a corner of a very crowded pool, which is insane. But
And then he pulls out a ring to propose to her. She says yes.
obviously, yes.
Right.
She's very
And then
like,
she
"Of
is
course."
immediately shot in the back by a sniper.
In a pool in the middle of the day.
Damn, I fucked up by not proposing like this.
I'm so happy.
Naked in the pool.
I can't wait to be your wife.
Is he wearing a diaper on his crotch? Did y'all see
We'll
that?
always be
I forgot
together.
about the laser pointer.
I need to know that something
Oh, it
extraordinary
misses. This is
possible.
basically the plot of the.
It is
Was
possible.
that Van Damme movie, or is
It
it
is possible. Anything's possible.
Van Damme versus
Double-
Rocky? Double. Oh, shot her in the spine. 'Cause
Falls.
He's a wanted man, but
Did
not
it
There's-
ever? Did it ever? Because he's such an affable man. Did they ever clarify who wanted to kill him?
No.
I don't think
No.
anyone wanted to kill him. I think they were trying to hurt him, so they killed her.
I think it was that blonde guy toward the end that said, we can kill them, we can, what did he say? It was like, we can destroy their hearts and their souls and their minds and maybe their business.
Yeah, and maybe their company.
He says maybe they're pissed.
But they
Like-
found out they could never destroy Neil's business.
Nope.
Right. So he loses his girlfriend, fiance of 30 seconds.
Yeah, say.
well,
There's
also
a-
you missed the part too where that he meets that guy, and that guy tells him to assassinate, like to kill all the loved ones of
Yeah.
someone.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're. I had no recollection of that, James. It's fine.
Yeah. I think that comes later because then
Yeah, I
he
thought-
goes. Then like
I thought it was right.
because that's
Sorry,
when he
you're
goes and
right,
picks up the
Adam.
couple at the wedding chapel, right?
It's
Yeah.
before that, but it is after the wife dies. You're right.
So she dies. Then he kind of goes even more unhinged, eats a lot of tuna.
And passes
Um,
out next to his car.
He continues to pass out next to his car that has
After-
satellite dishes
specifically after
attached to
getting
the
loved.
bumper.
Let them all know that I've planted biological bombs in 7 major cities around the world. Destroy the economy of that city. And release
Tuna
a
and
biological
CDs.
attack on the population which will kill
And
hundreds
just,
of
you know,
thousands.
some blood.
Yeah. He's hacking on a lot of laptops that are not turned on.
Also making calls on 3 or 4 cell phones at a time.
Yeah.
Motorola flip phones,
Yeah.
It's genius.
which I keep thinking
That
are
are definitely
vape.
connected to the 2 satellite dishes mounted on the trunk of his car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that he tinkers with.
Yeah. That he loves to just tighten bolts on. Then he goes and like he poses as a chauffeur. He goes to one of those drive-through chapels basically in Vegas, picks up a recently married couple, poisons the husband, kidnaps the wife, throws the husband in the trunk. The wife then like kind of comes to, and she's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, baby, we went out to the club last night. We had a bunch of drinks. We had sex out by the pool. And now we're married and it's great."
We're in Las Vegas. Hey, last night we went to the club, danced a lot, drank a lot, laughed a lot, had sex out by the fountains. Then we went down to the strip
Sorry.
and we got married. Hey, this is Las Vegas, baby.
What? Who are you? We're married? What? How?
Oh wait, what happened? He dumped the other guy, and
In the
now
trunk.
Got the package.
Yeah, he's in the trunk.
Where do you want
And then he gets a phone call in the middle of that conversation, finds out that it's the wrong couple, and then just kicks them out of the car.
crap. Get out.
My target went to the lake. I'll go find them. But I've changed my mind. Get out! Get out! The marriage is over. Get out!
That's so stupid.
Holy shit.
He screams at her to get out, but she's paralyzed, I guess.
Because he
Wait.
drugged her.
So is he mad about the killing of his fiance?
He's gotta be.
Yeah, he's gone clinically
Is that-
depressed.
Okay, so he's like seeking revenge in this movie.
No, he's
Like,
just lost it.
he just
No,
continues
he's
taking
definitely
jobs,
lost
but
it.
now he just doesn't have anything to live for.
Yeah,
Right.
he doesn't
He at no
care.
point ever tries to seek revenge, which is a very non-Breen thing to do, I think.
Well, yeah, because it's never really spelled out who it was.
No.
Right. It doesn't really say who it was.
Like we
or
can
why.
kind of guess who it was, but it's
They
never
also
really
never
spelled
showed
out.
who shot
Does-
that girl who was spying on them.
I
with
guess
her
Oh,
family.
yeah.
Oh yeah, at the
Yeah,
grocery
there's
market.
video
With the
tape.
camera?
You never know who did it.
Yeah. Yeah. He also spends the rest of the movie keeping his dead wife in a body bag next to his car.
On film?
And also he's shooting everything in such like it's just a shitty lens. Oh, his wife is a skeleton now.
I forgot all about that.
A completely
Oh, God.
bleached.
Yeah, sun bleached skeleton that's been inside of a body bag. Yeah, it looks acid bleached and it never sees the light of day.
So
Joey,
weird
they
to
say the
assume
Vegas
that when
sun.
she got shot, and I didn't
Oh,
think
the
about this
Ve-
earlier, but
Vegas sun is strong.
she got shot in a public pool, and they both just laid face down naked, bleeding in a public pool, which means
Yes.
he then picked
Oh.
her up and carried her out of a public pool during the daytime
I need to
and
say
put her in a
something.
body bag.
Right.
I need to say something. You're right. That is really funny. Pulled her out of the pool, which we established earlier was a public pool.
Likely in Vegas.
and then puts her in a body bag himself. Doesn't take her to a coroner.
He's
Doesn't
like at Caesar's Palace, just carrying her dead body back to his hotel room.
He's like,
I bet it happened at Trump.
Her dead bleeding
no,
body.
I'm just imagining tipping a guy.
tipping a bellhop for carrying your dead wife.
It was the same guy he tipped to borrow the car.
He stole the car.
Okay.
No,
I know it. I remember that.
He
Yeah.
borrowed the Rolls Royce. He
For an
stole the
hour.
Ferrari.
Wait, did he steal the Ferrari? Oh yeah, he did steal the Ferrari.
Yeah, because he can
stole
steal
the-
any car at any time.
Even
When he when he
mentions that
gives
after he pays a guy $500 to borrow a car.
Yeah.
when he gives the body to the bellhop, does he look at him and say, "She's totally alive"?
I mean, he'd have to.
Oh shit.
It's
I'm gonna say I wrote this down and I was like, I think that shot of him imagining them both dead together with their asses up in the
His
pool.
balls. His balls were showing.
No, is 100% throughout the entirety of film history the most awkward shot I've ever seen.
Yes.
And maybe was ever created. I don't even remember that it was clenching. I just remember that awkward shot.
His balls are right there.
Why is he just laying there?
What did he do?
I don't know.
But you need the context of the story. Like if you
No,
just see the
definitely
shot
need
by
context.
itself.
No, the shot itself is pretty awkward. But
Is
with the
there-
context, it leaves planet Earth. It is 100% the weirdest shot I've ever seen. I
And it's
can't think of any.
imaginary.
And he just imagines it. It's like I can't think of anything weirder in film. I just can't.
So James was spending the whole movie trying to find a redeeming shot. Would you say that that was the redeeming shot?
Oh, that's the shot for
Ooh.
me. That's the.
That might be a good one, yeah.
And
It's got balls.
It does have
It
balls.
literally has his balls tucked into like a weird panty
Were they
liner or
holding
something.
hands? Were they holding
They had
hands in
like
the pool?
he had his arm like over her shoulder.
Probably.
Yeah, like that makes it more awkward.
And her butt is so clenched.
Oh God, that's what. Yeah, there's. Holy fuck.
And so
Yeah.
so all of this happens, and then at the very end of the movie, he calls it off. Like he has it all set up where people are like going to storm the strip or whatever and shut everything down. And then he like reverse hacks and has those people killed. And then he's just like, I hope that this proves my loyalty to my country.
But it doesn't actually.
And then pretty much roll credits.
Like if someone decides to go against you, and then at the end they do something that redeems them, redemption is not the same as like loyalty.
Right.
There's something
Right.
else we didn't consider.
What?
The double down title in and of itself was a double down.
Go on.
The title's a double agent.
The title
All
itself.
right. All right.
So Neil didn't suddenly have a change of heart and switch back to good guys. He all the way through the end he was playing both sides.
Yes.
The government doesn't know he's the one who set up the attack. And the attackers don't know he's the one who stopped the attack. So he got paid by both governments.
Oh, he doubled down on his digits.
In Vegas, that's what a double down is, baby.
Damn, bro.
Double dipping.
Oh man, he played black and red.
That's racist.
That brings up the discussion
I
of
apologize.
whether Neil Breen has Native American blood or not, because he's
Yeah,
so hairless.
that does bring up that question.
Which this conversation is technically very racist. It is absolutely 100% about race, but it's not a
How's it racist?
negative thing.
Wait, the
that's
conversation
what I'm
in
saying.
and of itself is racist, but
No, he's saying
within it
because
are
the
not?
conversation is about race,
It is racist,
that is racist.
but it's not necessarily like a
The conversation
Not any
involves the
negative
topic
way.
of race.
It's
No,
not
I would say that
necessarily
the
negative.
conversation is racial.
Correct.
Yes, that would be what people
That's
would
what
say.
A sober mind would say. Yeah.
Modernly, yes.
Not racist.
It's racism 100%. But no, he might have a Comanche in him, we decided.
Of course, Justin would know the difference between racist and racial.
Yeah, I'm going with Comanche.
He's like, don't lump yourself in with me. So
I was gonna say I thought there'd be more dialogue, but I was surprised there wasn't. Usually
just
from
all
bad
monologue.
movies.
It's all VO,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, it was less than I thought. There's dialogue, but it was less than I thought.
God, yeah, I
So-
think there's no point. Okay, one thing I want to say actually, I thought this movie, I got confused because I've seen most of his movies now. I thought he was going to have his big dialogue scene at the end, but it never happened. And I realized that I think that dialogue scene is from Fatal Findings when he's like in front of the White House and he's like telling everybody stuff. That's in Fatal Findings.
Yes.
This one doesn't really have one exactly.
Well,
It
it's
kind of
earlier in
does.
the movie, which is what we were saying last week. Like,
Well, I was making the argument because that's what I thought I was basing it on was Fateful Findings, was that he puts these things at the very end of the movie and it's progressively gotten closer. But this movie, it's not really at the end of the movie and it's not really in the middle of the movie. It's kind of like there's a couple parts where there's
it's kind of during the setup of the movie, isn't it? Like,
he does
almost
have
like
that
it's all
really
exposition.
long speech at the beginning where he's just talking and talking and talking, like to that random fucking guy in front of, I don't know, Caesar's Palace or whatever.
The reality is that chemical and biological weapons can be much more destructive to societies and economies than nuclear weapons. They're cheap. They can be transported by anyone, anywhere. They involve little scientific technology. They can be
fucking
dispersed
lip suck.
silently,
He was like,
discreetly, without anyone knowing it. And the terrorists make a clean getaway. That's why the government focuses so much attention on nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
But even before that, he does that whole exposition narration. So I guess,
well,
like,
yeah. But I mean, that's his whole thing the whole time.
yeah, I guess that is all of them.
Yeah.
And then, but there is one part where there's other guys. It seems like they're people of power to some degree, where they're like having a realization where they're like, oh, maybe we should do it this way, kind of thing. But it's kind of ham-fisted in a weird spot in the movie. I don't know.
Well, and you don't know where they are because it's like shot like from like under them, like so it's just sky like behind them, and you don't know where they are. Like, yeah.
This movie strikes me differently now that we've seen a lot of his other movies and a lot of other shitty trash movies. Because I'm like, this one's so bizarre and so slow and weird that it just starts. It makes me begin to question reality in and of itself. Like, if this is a movie that a human being can make. Like, and this is their experience that they're trying to portray. It just makes me feel like my experience is no more or less sensical. if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a fucking trip. Like, it's a very challenging movie.
And that's why I was bringing up PTA's
Inherent Vice.
Inherent Vice, because that's a movie that makes me question like reality so much in like a deep way. Obviously, PTA is like a well-versed filmmaker, great filmmaker who's doing it in this way, and Neil Breen is a novice at best. Doing it in kind of a similar way though, but they're getting the same results in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just radically one guy really knows what he's doing and he's doing that, and one guy really doesn't know what he's doing, but it's creating the same kind of thought processes. It's weird.
I think we talked about this like one of the other earlier ones, but like I think we were arguing whether or not Neil Breen's actually trash, because like these movies kind of transcend trash onto this other level of like, I mean, you really can't classify them as anything other than a Breen movie.
Yeah, I mean,
they just exist on their own.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it right now. The Bees. It doesn't really make any sense for this movie either. Although, well, okay, let's just really quickly, we'll establish what the Bees are. It's just...
So the bees are generally boobs, long butts, boats, birds, butterfly knives, blood, bods, blue filters, Bigfoots, Brits, boardrooms, and Breens.
It's just 100% Breen in this movie.
Well, this has blood.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a lot of the things actually.
It had butts.
It has butts.
It had stock footage of birds.
Footage of birds.
No butterfly knives. No.
We saw Neil Breen's long butt.
Yeah.
We saw.
Oh yeah.
Neil Breen did pop tops, so we had some bods.
Yeah. Were there any boats?
No, it's Las
Vegas. I remember.
There weren't any boats. There might have been one on trailer somewhere.
Pretty landlocked.
And once again, shockingly, no boardroom, although there should have been.
There's definitely a boardroom in like one of these Neil Breen movies.
I really thought that there were. Like when we watched the last one and there wasn't a boardroom, I was very upset because I thought that every Neil Breen movie had a boardroom, and now we have two of them that definitely don't.
Well, I think it's just because it costs money. Like, because the scene with the senator and the Department of the Interior head and all that shit, like that would have been a boardroom scene, but instead they just filmed it outside against a blue sky.
Yeah, well,
probably just had to go to each of his friends' house and film it on different days.
It's like boardroom by necessity, which is just people outside in suits talking. It gets a mulligan, I suppose. It basically has a boardroom.
Yeah.
But what I'm intending to say with bringing up the Bees is just that his movies are so radically strange and from such a different thinking kind of person, and whether that's because he's a complete moron or not doesn't really matter, because my experience with it is just like, what the fuck is this? How is this person's reality? To the point where it gets philosophical, which is weird.
Yeah. So I guess all that being said, and really this is a question just for James, since it's your first time watching a Breen movie, but James, did you like it?
I mean, for its strangeness, yes. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not a movie that I would like want to watch it 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday or it's a particular movie. It's specific. It's not a great comparison, but for lack of a better one, Lynchian is in there, I think, with me. The surrealness in a way of it. It's not as executed in ways, or it's shot as well as Lynch, obviously, or interesting. But I sort of see it as like a a wannabe, if you will, for whatever. But I liked it. I mean, for what it is, you know what I mean? Like, it's a strange, weird, low budget movie, and I liked it, but it's because it's so surreal. The plot is so weird that by everything else being weird, it helps it. If it wasn't, if one thing was kind of off in this in terms of its tone not being similar to the rest, then that would have worked against it, I think.
I agree. Yeah, it's he has, and this is his first movie, and this is the jumping off point, really. I mean, it gets weirder and weirder, and in a weird way, we just watched a movie he made in 2016, and I was really hyped on it, and I can see where he was, like some of the beginnings now of where he is, where he was headed, and it was kind of interesting in a weird way.
Would you consider those faithful findings?
Fateful findings in my own personal experience, yes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it seems like he's actually, like, we've heard his 10-minute trailer for his documentary, right? Or at least I have, and I know Adam has. I don't know if you guys have listened to it, but he definitely talks about like how much he's learned as a filmmaker. And I always thought that was laughable, but now that I've watched, I think one of his more recent, if not most recent movie, in conjunction with his first film, he's not wrong.
Yeah, he's definitely learned.
He's definitely learned some stuff, and I think it's more like how to keep it a little more, keep the pace up, and keep it a little more entertaining, but still as insane.
And I think that's what's fascinating to me is you start to realize the more you watch his movies and the more you put them in context of like Double Down was first and then everything else came after that. Like, so much of the shit that we think of as Breen is, we're like, oh, he's a bad filmmaker. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a novice. He's an amateur. Those things are true, but these are also exactly the movies he's trying to make.
Yeah, he's sharpening his skills of insanity.
Right.
I never thought about it before, but now I have a pretty clear idea. He's getting better, but in the weirdest imaginable way. It's beyond any other filmmaker working. Yeah, he's Breening hard.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Anyway, does anybody have a favorite part of this movie?
My favorite part is whenever he was outside the car talking to the other agent or whatever he was, and he was like, what have you been up to? And he's like, busy, in fact, with all the worldwide action.
Worldwide action. I mean, I'm gonna go with there's so many things that I wrote down. God, like the sleeping in the body bag, or the dead body in the body bag, the satellite skills, but and the hand dying slowly in the gravel. That's amazing. But really, it's the tuna. So weird. Okay, so if this whole thing is dubbed,
fuck, that's a lot of cans.
That's a lot of can sound effects, and they all sound pretty different. Oh, we found a special.
I really like it's kind of toward the end. I don't remember exactly what happened, but something goes wrong, and it's like when he decides that he's going to call off the thing, and he is on the ground pawing at the dirt, like grabbing clumpfuls of or fistfuls of dirt, and he just goes, "No, I'm an American," and he just keeps shouting that over and over again.
I can't go on with this. I can't go on with this. I'm an American. I'm an American. I love this country. My country.
Wait, you know what? That might have been the speech. As dumb and like weird as it was, like that was a really short kind of like monologue-y thing.
But the speech is there. He just didn't figure out that it should be all in one clump place in his movie. Yeah.
That was definitely a turning point.
Yeah.
I think it happens in his next film, Fatal Findings. I'm almost positive.
Twisted Pair is my favorite.
Twisted Pair is a new level.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. You want to just jump into bags of trash?
Sure. Yeah.
Anybody? How many bags out of 5? Apocalypse, you're giving it 5?
I think it's 5 gorgeous bags of trash in the dumpster, and they're positioned so perfectly, and they're so greasy and just nasty smelling that the raccoons can do the backstroke across the dumpster.
I'm just picturing the Big Lebowski musical number scene, and it's just raccoons and trash bags.
That's very, very hot.
Synchronized swimming.
Very hot.
Anyone else?
I'm gonna go 4. I'm gonna go 4 bags of trash.
Blasphemy.
Because I think.
How dare you blaspheme our
yeah.
Lord?
Trash for me.
Hey. You know. I just think there's room to grow. When you see this in context now, I think if I watched this a year ago, I'd be like, 5 bags of trash. Fuck this. This is one of the best fucking absurdist trash things ever to exist, and it still is. But I think there's room to grow. Honestly, I'm a little astounded that I think this too, because this was what I thought was my favorite Neil Breen movie, but now I don't think it is.
Do you think that? Like, yeah, we've watched a lot of stuff in the last year, and maybe the perspective of seeing those since this makes it seem different to you. But do you think it's just that it was just a second watch of a movie that you already seen, so you're not going to have the same reaction? Like if tonight was the first time you had ever seen it, do you think you would be giving it a higher score than you are now?
I pretty much just said the same thing. Is like a year ago or more, however, whenever we watched this first, I would definitely give this 5 bags of trash because it's pure insanity.
Oh no, I mean, if tonight was your first time watching it, not a year ago, like, do you think the time? You see what I'm saying?
I think.
Oh, like the context of like what
having done this trash movie thing.
You're saying if I had watched a year or two's worth of trash films and then I stumbled upon this first, if this would still blow my mind? I don't know. That's interesting. That you're putting that in a way that makes it a little more difficult to answer.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's such a hypothetical.
I don't know. Like if I had seen Carnosaur before this, I don't know if it would be higher or lower. I don't know. Probably still pretty high.
Like if we didn't have any idea who Breen was, we watched trash movies for a year and then saw this. I don't know that I would. I don't know. I have zero perspective on how I would rank this then.
Yeah, I'm gonna still say pretty high still.
Not the way it went.
Let's say in that scenario it's 4.5. In the scenario that happened, it's 5 bags of trash. In the scenario now, I'm like, he has room to grow. Let's give it a 4. And
it's not fair because you have a looking glass.
Well, it's fine. It's all thoughts. There's rating systems are bullshit anyway.
I agree.
This is an amazing trash movie, and you should absolutely watch it. I'm just saying, don't stop with this one. There's if you watch this one and you don't think it's the best fucking weird trash movie ever, keep watching them, because there's maybe one that's gonna hit for you. Like I feel now. Yeah, that's about it.
Don't stop the braining.
Don't stop braining.
Don't stop braining.
Someone else, please give me their trash bags.
JP, James, anybody have any trash ratings?
I'm gonna give it 5 big, thick, fluffy bags.
Big fluffy bags.
Trash.
All right.
Big fluffy.
James?
My opinion has not wavered
Oh,
in my love for this film in a year.
good.
You're so consistent.
James,
The
how you
clenching
feeling?
butts. The clenching butts. My God, that shot. Sorry.
Yeah, if anything, I didn't notice that the first time. It's just better.
I give it 3.5. I think it's
3.5,
good. It's
thanks.
got ideas, but needed a little more energy, but still fun. Hell of a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I go 4.5. I want to give it 5, but it's just not quite there. It's just not quite
He hasn't come into his own yet. That's all I'm saying.
right. Like yeah, it's a tough one. It hurts me. It hurts me more than it hurts him.
But
No,
this is
yeah,
what this is moving the goalposts.
exactly.
The rating
But
system has changed because we've seen a better Neil movie. So
Yeah,
now
it's like it's like in the middle of the semester when the teacher's like, I know you can do better.
Yeah.
I know Neil can do better.
Unfortunately,
But
that is the truth.
when this version of Neil was already the 5,
I
and
mean,
then
he
you
hits.
turn around and say, but he can do better.
He hits some really high highs in this one though. That's the problem. That's the thing that hurts.
Yeah.
I mean the butt thing, and then the tuna and the satellites and the random guys walking around with just feet that are clearly just him, like trying to be himself.
But there's no tiger.
There's no tiger.
There's no animals.
Tiger. There's no body double. There's no jumping from
rock to rock. Oh yeah, he doesn't jump from rock to rock because he fucking runs up them for 5 minutes at a time.
This is Neil Breen analog.
Yes.
And it's literally on 35 millimeter, which we've discussed already, but it is sort of still pretty amazing to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, any closing thoughts before we wrap it up? From anybody?
No?
I'm good.
Good?
Yeah, I think we discussed everything. Oh, I wanted to talk about what the fuck you guys were talking about with Havana.
Oh, the Havana syndrome. Yeah, he set up like a Havana syndrome.
No, don't do a shout out to that.
Invisible. The force shield will cause damage if an intruder gets too close.
Basically, what comes down to is acoustic weapons.
I'm sorry for bringing this up, y'all.
It's acoustic weaponry.
Oh, this is like using frequencies or tones to make people shit, or to affect them emotionally, or to make them
correct. But in this case, it was making their ears hurt and their heads pound and just crushing sounds, high-pitched frequencies that border on line where a human ear and a dog ear can hear, and it was just causing people just to go crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So when he set up that like force field around his car, and the guy walked up and went and then fell down and his ear was bleeding, that's why I was like, oh, he has Havana syndrome.
Okay, I thought of some shout outs. Shout out to the Ferrari.
Yes.
Which he uses more than once in his other films. Shout out to falling asleep or waking up next to your car in gravel like several times. Shout out to that. Shout out to shooting Vegas during the day, because no one
Daytime.
fucking has done that. This original as fuck. And yeah, that's about it. Shout out motherfucking Neil Breen. It's a great movie. It's a really, really good trash film.
Shout out to disposable license plates, I guess, or interchangeable license plates.
Yeah, you gotta have multiple license plates if you want to be gangster.
Yeah.
Shout out to just having a license plate collection in general.
Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to a trunk full of empty tuna cans.
Yes. Shout out to feeling good all the time. Anything else?
Jokes? Any jokes? Did you tell him?
Huh?
Apocalypse and
actually, I have
jokes.
a
You got your
question.
brick up.
Huh?
Quick question.
Question from Justin Petty.
Question from the back. What did the,
Yes,
the
you.
rock that he had, his magic rock,
Mhm.
kept having to find? Like, it kept showing up throughout the movie, but he never really explained what it did. Is it what made him invisible?
It's the next movie where he starts to get into the rocks, really. I feel like it was an afterthought in this film.
Yeah, I don't really know what it did.
It was just like his lucky rock.
I guess.
Sure. Perhaps.
I'll save this line of questioning until we watch the next one, but I do at some point want to like categorize the Neil Breen isms, I guess, and the things that he did in his movie repeatedly just out of convenience or necessity.
Yeah.
Convenience
there's a
versus
creative Neil
necessity.
Breen and there's a practical Neil Breen, and I want to list all the things that he does throughout his series.
We will open up the fire hydrant of filmmakers watching films and how we experience that a little bit differently, which I think is what that kind of gets into. But yeah. Anything else?
Apocalypse, any jokes?
No, not tonight. I gotta get out of here.
All right. Well, guys, as always, thanks for joining. Everybody listening, thanks for listening. This has been the Trash Kings podcast. Catch us on Instagram at TrashKings126 or on our website, trashmoviekings.com. Once more, Adam Edwards joined with Joey Graham, Apocalypse Howell, and JP, Justin Petty. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Wow.